Make way, here we come, ring bells, bang the drums.
Oh, you're gonna love this pod! Welcome into the Broforce Squad podcast. We are fresh out of the theaters seeing the remake. Is it a remake? Yeah.
Sure.
Live action remake of Disney's Aladdin. I'm Matt Geiger alongside Jeff Hornacek, grading this on our 5 criteria: acting, cast, story, best scene, rewatchability, and impacts on pop culture. So, first, let's throw it to Jeff first with the acting and the cast. A lot of stuff to get to here. And first off, our overall thing, guys, we didn't hate it. We'd actually maybe go see it. It's very weird, but we're actually in a good mood. So, acting and cast, Jeff, what do you think?
Real quick, if I had one thing to say to Disney, I would pull aside their marketing people and be like, how did you guys make this movie look so shitty in every trailer that I saw? Because I think this was a very fine, fun summer movie. Like, what were you guys doing with those trailers that everyone was so fucking worried? Because
it's sick. I actually brought it up to my wife to go see this because she was really interested. I wanted to go see it just to see how shitty it was, and then I came out kind of surprised. So maybe that's their new marketing thing. Like, I just wanted to go see a train wreck and hear everyone bitch, but oh well.
Going into the acting and cast, I think we will both have quite a bit to say about Will Smith, because I think this movie was going to work or not work on him trying to maybe replace isn't the right word, but portray the genie that, of course, Robin Williams made iconic. So let me go through a couple people that I liked or didn't like. First off, Nasim Pedrad as Dahlia, new character from the animated series. I loved her on SNL. She was very good on The New Girl, and she was nice in this. It was good, I think, because she helped give us more background on Princess Jasmine. We might get into this in story, but did you like how we got some info on what happened to Jasmine's mother and how it sort of affected her relationship with her dad?
I enjoyed that, and I didn't really know this till my wife told me, but I guess a lot of the Disney characters are motherless because Walt Disney was motherless.
Interesting.
That's what I heard, but I liked it because once again and we'll get into this, this is live action, but then there's some things where, a parrot can talk, a tiger can't, but they're going to bust out into song, but everything else is real. So since it's real, I thought her character was necessary. So I was absolutely fine with it. And it did give us a lot more background on Princess Jasmine that almost gave her character more depth than the original, I believe.
Speaking of Princess Jasmine, Naomi Scott, I mean, this was, I think, her breakout role. I think she's insanely talented vocally. I loved her in Power Rangers as Kimberly, and no one fucking saw that movie, so shame on you, America. And unfortunately, she had a role in The Martian with Matt Damon that got cut in editing. So this is like the first real chance America had to see her. She's in
Matt Damon's role would have got cut in editing as a star.
She's in Charlie's Angels later this year. Okay. Who knows how that'll be, but I think her star is rising, and she really impressed me. And then one guy I got to talk about, Billy Magnuson played Prince Anders, the guy who was courting Jasmine, who was kind of a bumbling idiot. He was the like stupid bro in Game Night. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I liked his role too, and that's a new role. I know that there was some Prince suitors in the original. I can't remember if that's Prince Anders or not, but he didn't have as big a role as he does in this one anyway.
And before I toss it to you, I got to say the one guy that really did not work for me was Marwan Kenzari as Jafar. I think he can be a menacing villain, but dude, his voice Jafar's voice in the animated series is so commanding and frightening, like it scared the shit out of me as a kid. This guy, he was just at an octave that I never felt afraid. He would be like, I have a mission for you. And I was like, what? You sounded like an old woman. And he did what he could, because the Jafar role is tough, man, because, like, you have to evoke fear in people with really, like, every time you're on screen, you just have to bring it. And he was kind of a letdown for me, but I thought the other stuff worked well enough. How about you?
So I'll just take it from Jafar. Visually, when I saw him, I'm like, okay, he looks young. Jafar looked like he was, like, in his 50s almost, in the animated. And with the animated, I mean, they're cartoons, so their voice is really what we kind of go after.
Sells the performance. Yeah,
sells the performance, and I mean Jafar. I don't even know the actors who did his voice. Have no fucking clue. I don't think is someone as big as Jeremy Irons or anything that did Scar. However, whenever he said one word, I was like, "You dude, I'm out. I'm out on him." Like he just has too soft of a voice. It's not menacing enough to be Jafar. His look, I'm fine with. I mean, he's a little younger than I thought Jafar Cash should have been with. But other than that, I thought he was the worst part of this. Aladdin, Mena Masado.
Only other thing I've seen him in was that Jack Ryan series with John Krasinski.
Okay, that's probably the only thing he'll ever be in because he's like definitely a typecast for Aladdin. But I didn't mind him. I thought he did fine. There's other actors I thought would have been a better Aladdin, but I'm not going to name them because then everyone will say I'm racist probably because I don't know any fucking Indian actors. So besides Aziz Ansari riding a magic carpet. So Will Smith, dude, I thought he wasn't going to be good at all. Then I was reading reviews, not to spoil anything before I got in the movie, that said he was the best part of it. And I'll say this, he was on the line of being, okay, I'll buy it, to this is a fucking catastrophe joke. And he tiptoed that line a couple times, but he never teetered over. Do you know what I'm talking about? If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you're like, okay, he's, his right leg almost slipped on that one. He's getting to be like, this is fucking stupid. But however he brought it back, there's some things that we'll get to in Best Scene that I thought they missed an opportunity with him, but with what he had, he was fine, man. I mean, I wasn't pissed when I left, I'll say that, which means he was fucking fine.
He surprised me. I thought the only few times he struggled was when the role, like he had to emulate Robin Williams.
Yeah.
The two main parts that jumped to mind being like the Prince Ali song, which he's just not like that type of vocal performer. And then the scene in the Cave of Wonders where he explains the rules of the lamp. Robin Williams owned that scene in the cartoon. And it felt there like the script says, dude, you got to say this almost the way Williams did. And he kind of, I don't know, he just felt out of place and he seemed uncomfortable. But I thought he really excelled when he was with Aladdin as a mentor. And it almost felt like he was playing Hitch again, which is like his best role, where he's like helping someone who's not as brash and confident as him fall in love with someone. Yeah. That is Will Smith's fastball down the middle of the plate. And those were the scenes where he kicked ass. And I think they played the genie away there that Robin Williams did not at all in the cartoon, which was cool to see.
Yeah, Hitch meets Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, pretty much. Is if you like that, you'll probably like the way he played it. So going into story, I mean, I don't know what else we're going to say about this. We're going to do spoilers, so everyone knows the story, obviously. If you don't, what the fuck are you doing? Go watch the first Aladdin and listen to our movie commentary as you do it. But let's just talk about some of the stuff they changed and if you liked it or not.
Yeah. So the main thing I think it wasn't necessarily a change, but it was what they added. It was the genie subplot with Dahlia, like Jasmine's handmaiden. That seemed like the biggest part, and obviously helps add that layer of like you really wanting Aladdin to use his last wish to free him, which I thought was kind of cool. That worked for me. Again, there might be people in the theater like, why the fuck is Genie like falling in love with this girl? But I don't know, man. That to me was like him and Aladdin were almost on like a parallel path together, helping each other, and Jasmine and Dahlia were kind of doing the same thing, which I just thought was a cool dynamic to add to the movie. What'd you think about that addition?
I thought that was fine. I mean, obviously, if Will Smith's going to give him relationship advice, he's probably into chicks. So the only problem I had that they didn't really explain was how did he become a fucking genie? Because obviously,
right? Did he used to be a human, or was he?
Yeah,
always...
he used to be a human because now now he's a human. He was a human at the start of the movie, which is he was telling a past tense story or whatever. The one change they did though was make Jasmine Sultan, which I didn't really have a problem with. I don't remember quite in the original. Aladdin doesn't become the Sultan, right? He just gets to marry the princess.
This is what, and I've seen them all, like Return of Jafar and King of Thieves, but I was wondering, at the end of the first Aladdin, how do they get around not being able to get married? Does the Sultan just say, like, oh, that's a stupid law, I'll change it?
The Sultan basically just says, well, I'm Sultan, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I couldn't remember. I didn't mind that with Jasmine because I think, and this is the other thing, we get her mother's backstory, like, which...
Yeah.
If I can remember right, is not mentioned at all in the cartoon. And so it was cool to see like why the Sultan was so strict with her, and then he finally realized like, all right, she's what's best for Agrabah, and lets her and Aladdin basically, be together because of that. You had actually a good point about her not having a mother as it pertains to other Disney characters. If you want to tell the people that, like how a lot of Disney characters don't have are motherless, basically, which I never even thought of. But
Yeah,
like Ariel doesn't have a mom. Belle
yeah,
doesn't.
it's Ariel. It's Cinderella, I believe. I don't know. My wife told me this just
Belle
because
doesn't have one in Beauty and
yeah,
the Beast.
Walt Disney didn't have a mother, and that's how he wrote his characters. I love that. I love that there was a reason Jasmine hasn't been out of the walls for a while. That's because her dad was like nuts because her mom died or whatever. But that was the only problem I had is like, why didn't give us a little more backstory on Will Smith's Genie character? Her being Sultan, I'm fine with. I mean, that changed a little bit, but it was just so minuscule. And Aladdin never really cared about fucking being Sultan. And you know, empowerment of women is 2019. That's fine. They tweaked it. I don't know. Some people might have a problem with it. I really didn't. The shit that they tweaked, I thought it was so minuscule, and it also fit the narrative of the story that I was completely fine with it. Other than it wasn't like Jungle Book. I'll say that. So I was completely fine with the story.
One small thing I just thought of. So Hakeem, who's like the head of the King's Guard, you know, in the cartoon, he's a straight up bad guy, right? Like he doesn't like work with Jafar, but he's like
the one with the tooth missing. Yeah,
exactly. And he's just chasing Aladdin the whole time.
Yeah.
No character arc at all. They did give him a little bit of a character arc here, and he sort of shows like how the people weren't just like these blind followers of Jafar. Did you like that scene? I thought it kind of just showed up in the movie a little late, but I thought it was also kind of a cool scene where
it was fine. I mean, I wasn't clapping and I wasn't pissed, so I was just like, yeah, whatever. It's the necessarily differences they took, I thought fit, and I did not have a problem with any of them, which is very surprising, actually. So that's a high five to you, Disney, because you fucked that up a lot. So going right into best scene, I'll just take this one first because mine was the first one. Doesn't have to be the best scene. It has to set a tone. Ding. Don't have the bell with me. But first off, so I just get my fucking popcorn. I'm thinking this is going to fucking suck. They started off and Will Smith's on a goddamn boat. I'm like, and I was just like you. I'm like, why the fuck are they on a boat? Why are they in the ocean? And there was a second I look at my wife, I'm like, am I in the right theater? Have you ever like had that whenever you go to a movie, you're like, am I in the right place?
Never a good start when you ask yourself that.
Will Smith's in a boat with kids, and of course he's their father, and he's telling them, and he's like, oh, I need to tell you the story about Aladdin. I'm like, okay, so this story's already happened. We know Will Smith. We're like, okay, the one change is Will Smith's going to be let free at the end of this, I guess. Unless this is a dream or something.
Well, the genie is in the cartoon.
Right. So they didn't change that because obviously he's already free because he said we'll tell the story on Aladdin. Then he starts singing Arabian Nights, which is a song that Robin Williams, the genie, did not sing. However, I liked how he sung it, and it kind of started off, and I'm like, okay, this is a little twist to the genie, and he's already separating himself from Robin Williams, which is probably what they were trying to do the entire time because you couldn't live up to him, and I was fine with it. And I thought it set off the movie pretty well because as it went, I just kept thinking, I'm like, I really like this first scene, and when I watched it again, I'm probably going to be looking forward to this first scene. So
yeah. No, I totally agree. The one thing I was worried about, just like you, I was like, dude, this movie opens in the desert with Arabian Nights. Why are we on the high seas right now? Because the Robin Williams Arabian Nights scene where he's like the street vendor selling that French fry machine that breaks is fucking hilarious. And obviously, again, I don't need a shot-for-shot remake here. I'm with you.
Robin Williams sing that song?
No, but he he's like in disguise as the dude selling like the French fry chopper. It's broken.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
So my favorite scene, I got to give one an honorable mention just because we shit on bad CGI a lot in this movie, but there was a scene in this movie with exceptional CGI, and that is, you and I have talked about this before, the hardest level in any Sega game, and it worked out great in this movie, was Aladdin and Abu trying to escape the Cave of Wonders once Abu touches the rupee. Real quick, sorry, an aside, did Abu work for you in this movie? I thought he was great.
I guess I was kind of disappointed just because it's hard to, I don't know.
That's the character that I knew was going to be tough to translate from cartoon to live action.
Yeah, because, I mean, he didn't talk, but his expressions you could kind of tell. I didn't think they did as much with him as they did in the cartoon, I guess.
Like, remember in the cartoon when he, like, dresses up like Jasmine and is, like, teasing Aladdin?
A lot of that, though, in the cartoon's so easy to do. In CGI, that probably takes a lot of work to just change. Like, the genie, like, Robin Williams would go from Jack Nicholson to somebody else in 2 seconds. So, I thought he was underutilized. I mean, another person I thought was underutilized was the fucking parrot. He didn't do shit. He was supposed to be funny. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, I was wondering how they would do him if he would be like talking like Gilbert Gottfried, but they kind of found that happy medium where he was like a little more sentient than like a normal parrot, but also he did have like the mannerisms and behavior of an actual animal until, of course, the end when he turns into like a hawk thing. That we'll talk
Yeah,
about.
I thought that they should actually casted an actor with kind of a funny voice.
Alan Tudyk did voice him, who obviously is like K2SO, Steve the Pirate, and Dodgeball, all that.
Okay, I thought
Um,
that he wasn't. This movie was not that funny. I'll put it that way. But best scene.
My best scene was when, and this was actually a scene that was cracking my shit up. I saw this with my mom, my aunt, and my fiance. We were all laughing. And again, if this humor did not work for you, then you weren't going to find the movie funny because it was all in this vein. But it's when Aladdin is in the palace as Prince Ali of Ababwa, and he's presenting the Sultan and Jasmine with his gifts. And he goes on this presentation for like 2 minutes on all of the jams that he brought. And the genie is like, move on from the jams. And he just we have peach jams, and he's like, what the fuck? We don't even have any of that. And it was just Will. It reminded me of Will Smith and Hitch, where Kevin James like can't get anything right with talking to a girl, and that dynamic to me I thought was funny then, and I thought it was funny in this. But again, if that scene did not work for you, you probably were not laughing much throughout the movie. But for me, it did. So that's my best scene.
Okay, impacts on pop culture, and I don't know if we need to talk anything about this. I don't know if you thought about this when you left the theater, but are they going to make a Return of Jafar? Because honestly, it's hard to top this movie, but if they make it Aladdin 2, same with Lion King 2, that's not hard to top. You could get a different story, and it could actually be better.
I know. So that's where you have my attention. And that's where you can take some more liberties because those movies aren't gospel to people, you know?
Yeah, everyone's like, dude, change them, rip them up, do a completely different story, and we'll probably go watch, and it'll be more fun because we're like, dude, we've never seen this before, and it's Aladdin.
Dude, I would fucking actually dig a Return of Jafar live action movie. I didn't even think about that.
That's the first thing I was leaving, and my wife was like, I liked it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not pissed. And then I started thinking, I'm like, I bet everyone makes sequels. I bet they'll make Aladdin 2. I'm like, Return of Jafar? I'm like, yeah, they probably would. That'll be stupid. I'm like, or would it? They would fucking change everything. I'm like, and Lion King could do it, and all those Disney movies that made sequels that were terrible could do it. I'm like, that's actually brilliant.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll want to get through like the main. Obviously, we have Lion King, Mulan coming out. Like, I wonder if they'll want to get through like their main core before they go to the sequels. But I would definitely be interested in that. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, a Lion King, Simba's Pride, which is basically had no villain at the end because everyone just kind of got along and it didn't make any fucking sense. Like, I mean, they could do a lot of stuff with this. I mean, they could leave Scar alive. I mean, Jafar is obviously still alive.
That's where you can take some chances with the stories, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's where everybody be okay with each. So I guess that's the question: is they need to figure out: is there an appetite for this because these movies weren't that popular? Like, people want to see the advancement of the story and the big screen, or is there not an appetite because the animated one sucked, and even if we change it, people are like, that's not an IP that I'm interested in seeing.
I think it'd be even good for all the characters that were like, okay, just get through this one because that movie was so good. And then Will Smith's Genie can really shine because really, I mean, I don't remember anything. Was Robin Williams' Genie even in? I've never seen Return of Jafar or King of Thieves. Was he in it?
The Genie is in Return of Jafar. He's voiced by Dan Castellaneta, who does Homer Simpson's voice.
Okay, so it's not even Robin Williams, all right.
Right, and then Robin Williams returned for King of Thieves.
Okay.
To voice the Genie.
All right, so
my impact. So let's go through the list of Disney live-action movies, which I don't think is that strong, because I think this is tied for or now has ascended to the top. So in no particular order, because it's just how I fucking remembered them: Cinderella, Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Maleficent, Dumbo, and Pete's Dragon. Now, admittedly, the only one of these I have not seen is Dumbo, so I'll reserve judgment on that. But like, depending how you feel about Jungle Book, this is maybe tied for first with me. I would put this slightly ahead of Jungle Book, then I would go Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Maleficent, Pete's Dragon. I mean, where does this is this at or near the top of that list that I just read?
Yeah,
for you?
it's one or two. The problem with that list, though, is once again, kind of combining both our points, is I'd rather watch the original animated one besides any of those. However, if you do, and I think Jungle Book had a fucking sequel. If you do sequels of live action, people are going to be like, okay, sweet, further the story and don't fuck it up and make it stupid this time.
Well, Maleficent is getting its sequel this year, so that's probably the first Disney live action to get a sequel. So we'll see how that goes. And I don't know enough about that story to know if that was ever a movie or if it's just totally being reinvented. Is that
the Angelina Jolie one?
Right. She basically plays the Wicked Witch who puts the curse on Sleeping Beauty. It's like the prequel to that. Michelle Pfeiffer, our girl, is in it. Shout out. So again, the impact for me, I think this is already at or near the top of that list. Now, I'm praying to God that when Lion King comes out, it's way second place at least. But for now, it might be sitting atop the throne for best Disney live action movie.
So rewatchability, I'm just gonna say I might rewatch this once, but this is just like watching Pulp Fiction on cable. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna go get the DVD or stream it.
It's a great analogy.
It's just not. I mean, I know they're saying fuck here, and I know that's supposed to be them cutting a dude's dick off, and I just can't do it on cable. And every time I watch this, I'm just like, I'm just gonna go watch the original. So it's pretty low, but it was fine. It didn't sully the good. It didn't Ryan Johnson it. I'll say that much about it. What about you?
I liked the music stuff in this. I think I will rewatch it, not in theaters, but I'll definitely give it a poke when it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD. I think we should do another commentary on this to couple with the animated one. And I think the biggest thing for me is this was the X factor, right? So for Disney live action remakes, that they were basically going vertically. They weren't moving the needle at all. Depending how this went, I was either going to be out on the idea pretty much going forward or saying, all right, we got something here. And I went the other way. We got something here. So this was not a colossal train wreck like I was worried it would be. It pleasantly surprised me. And I'm all of a sudden, of course I was going to be excited for Lion King, but on the whole, I'm not mad at the idea that we're going to get more Disney live action movies. I think is the big win here for the franchise. That's a franchise.
Yeah, I'm not sure why everyone's shitting on this movie. It's not that bad. I mean, it's actually kind of good, but critics are shitting on it bad. I think it's only got a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, and all. The thing is, once one critic shits on it, everyone has to, or then they get called out and be like, why do you think it's good? So people just follow the herd. But I mean, Vanity Fair, everyone was just saying it wasn't that good. I'm like, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, dude,
I thought it was gonna suck.
That's why if you're listening to us, just know that we're you at the movies. Like, I don't really give a shit what some dude that sniffs his red wine and, has his laptop in the front row of the theater thinks. Did I have fun at this movie? Yeah, dude. Like, I would recommend this to you. If you like the cartoon, I think this is definitely worth seeing.
If you go in there thinking it's really going to be bad like me, I think you're going to like it. Because I thought it was going to be terrible. And halfway in, I'm like, had to slap myself like I was dreaming. Like, this actually isn't that bad.
I think we're starting to realize when we think a movie's going to suck ass, it's when, we have the most fun in them. So we should get ourselves in that mindset more often.
It was the Solo effect. I'm like, I don't want to be here. And then after Darth Maul shows up, I'm clapping, telling an 8-year-old to fuck himself. I'm like, why do you think this is going to be bad? You don't know shit. It's awesome.
Dumbass kids.
Yeah.
Our country's doomed if you're the future. What? Just because I didn't know Darth Maul was in it? Shut up.
All right, guys. We've been the Broforce Squad. We're going to go listen to Will Smith and DJ Khaled do a fucking song about Arabia or something. That was kind of cool at the end, actually. They should have done that at the time. He should have just rapped. It would have been fucking awesome. We have a website, broforesquad.com. Our Twitter handle is @BroForSquad. iTunes and YouTube is where you can find all our content. And since Jeff's on the pod, I'll mention Letterboxd. So
check out our Aladdin review on Letterboxd.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're going to fly away on our magic carpet ride. So check you later.
100 bad guys with swords.
I'm glad he didn't try it.
He didn't even, he almost said it just so subtle. He's like,